First of all, I will talk about the introduction to Top Glove Corporation Berhad. It was established in 1991 in Malaysia. It grew from a single factory with one glove production into the world's largest manufacturer of gloves. It has operations in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, China, USA, Germany, and also Brazil. It delivers gloves to protect life in every corner of the globe. The mission of the corporation is it wants to ensure safe human protection globally, and the vision is it wants to become the world-class partner in glove and healthcare products. Then I will talk about the introduction to Supermax Corporation Berhad. It was founded by Dato Sri Stanley Thai and his wife, Datin Sri Shari in 1987. It became the first own branding manufacturing latex glove manufacturer in Malaysia. The brand of its product have since carved distinctive named synonymous to superior quality, and it continues to be the product of choice among consumers worldwide. The mission of the corporation is it wants to become global brand of choice among users of medical gloves. The vision of the corporation is similar to the mission, which is it wants to become the global market leader in the manufacture of medical gloves. Next is the horizontal analysis. It used to help financial statement users to recognize important financial changes that unfold over time. It also used to examine whether any statistics are particularly high or low. Then I will talk about the income statement of Top Glove Corporation Berhad. The revenue of the corporation decreases a total percentage of 65.94%. Because of this, the gross profit of the corporation also decreases a total percentage of 91.41% from year 2021 to year 2022. The net profit of the year of corporation decreases a total percentage of 96.4% from the previous year. While for the income statement of Supermax Corporation Berhad, the revenue decreased a total percentage of 62.49%. However, the gross profit of the corporation increases a total percentage of 190% from year 2021 to year 2022. Although the gross profit of the corporation increased a lot, the net profit of the year also decreases a total percentage of 80.73% from year 2021 to year 2022. Then I will talk about the balance sheet of Top Glove Corporation Berhad. The total asset of the corporation decreased a total percentage of 17.03%. This is because the cash and bank balances also decreases a total percentage of 50.19% from year 2021 to year 2022. The total liability of the corporation decreases a total percentage of 48.35% because the income tax payable decreases a lot from year 2021 to year 2022, which it decreases a total percentage of 97.39%. Because of this, the net assets of the corporation decreases a total percentage of 5.91%. The total equity has the same amount as the net assets, and therefore, the total equity also decreases a total percentage of 5.91%. For the balance sheet of Supermax Corporation Berhad, the total assets of the corporation decreased a total percentage of 19.44% because the cash and bank balances of the corporation decreases a total percentage of 19.79% from year 2021 to year 2022. For the total equity of the corporation, it increases a total percentage of 2.81%, while for the total liability of the corporation, it decreases a total percentage of 63% because of the account payable also decreases a total percentage of 71.84%.
Hi, my name is YUAN, and I will be taking part in the vertical analysis. So let us take a look what is the definition and purpose for doing the vertical analysis. Vertical analysis is a method of financial statement analysis in which each line items are listed as a percentage of a basic figure within the statement. Because of we able to see the relative proportion of account balances, it's easier for us to compare the financial statements of one company with another and also across the industries. First of all, as what we can see on the slide is the income statement of Top Glove Corporation Berhad. In the year of 2021, the cost of sales company is 32.14% from the overall revenue, while compared to 2022, the cost of sales increases to 82.99%. It shows that the cost of sales has been increases gradually from 2021 to 2022 with the amount of 50.78%, and it has affected the gross profit of the TOP Group company to drop hugely from 67.86% to 17.11% with the overall revenue. After receiving other items income such as interest income and other income and paying other items expenses such as distribution and selling costs, administrative and general expenses, financial costs and share of result of an associate, the profit before tax occupy, the overall revenue in 2021 is 61.33%, whereas in 2022, which is 6.43%. As a result, gain of profit can be observed. At this moment, we clearly see that because of the higher amount of cost sales in 2022 had reduced gradually to its gross profit and profit before taxation. Even though the taxation amount had been reduced 12.13% from 2021 to 2022, the profit after taxation still decreased gradually from 47.82% to 5.05%, with its overall revenue respectively by 42.77%. Next is the vertical analysis of income statement for Supermax Corporation Berhad. Based on the table, we know that the gross profit has decreased 17.94% from 2021 to 2022. This shows the Supermax company has to decrease their cost of goods sold to improve their gross profit in the future. After deducting the administrative costs and financial costs, the company still has 70.07% of profit before taxation, with the overall revenue in 2021 decreases to 39.43% in 2022. Hence, based on the information above, profit after taxation also decreases from 54.86% to 28.17%. Next is balance sheet of TOP Group Corporation Berhad. Based on the table, the non-current assets of TOP Group, especially property, plant, and equipment, had increases from 40.47% to 55.71% in 2021 and 2022 respectively. As we all know, non-current assets are important for business operations and health of a long-term financial. Hence, it contributes a huge percentage in total asset overall. Apart from that, the improvement of total liability has been achieved by 10.19% from 2021 to 2022. For the equity, because of the increase of retained earnings by 8.71% from 2021 to 2022, the total equity has been increases from 2021 with an amount of 73.81% to 83.69% in 2022. Lastly is the balance sheet for Supermax. The property, plant and equipment constituted in the largest percentage in total non-current asset with 19.49% and 28.49% in 2021 and 2022 respectively. At the same time, cash and bank balance has occupied the largest portion in total asset, which are 51.07% in 2021 and 80.84% in 2022. When we are looking into total liabilities, Supermax has reduced it from 33.81% in 2021 to 15.53% in 2022. So we're able to see a great improvement of Supermax to handle its total liability from 2021 to 2022.
Now, let's take a look at the ratio analysis of TOP Group Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad from 2021 to 2022. Ratio analysis is derived to know about a company's functional efficiency, liquidity, revenue, profitability, and to help financial statement users understand and evaluate a company's financial results. These are a few types of ratios that we are going to look into: proficiency ratio, efficiency ratio, liquidity ratio, solvency ratio, investment ratio, and share price. This is the table of ratio analysis that has been prepared after analyzing the financial records and statements of TOP Group Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad. Next, here's a summary of comparison as potential investor. Here is the brief comparison of horizontal analysis of statement of financial position of TOP Group Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad from 2021 to 2022. As you can see, here is the increase or decrease in the total non-current assets, current assets, total assets, non-current liabilities, current liabilities, total liabilities, and total equity. These results shows that stake of the Supermax company is in a better situation than the TOP Group, as its increasing trends in equity gave investors a better impression than the TOP Group Corporations Berhad. On the other hand, here's the comparison of horizontal analysis of statement of comprehensive income of Top Glove Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad from 2021 to 2022. As you can see, Top Glove's profit net of tax decreased by 96.40% from 2021 to 2022, whereas the net profit of Supermax decreased by 80.73% from 2021 to 2022. Although Supermax spent a variety of expenses compared to Top Glove, Supermax performed better in profit making within these 2 financial years. Thus, Supermax is most likely to attract more investors. Now, let's look at comparison of vertical analysis of statement of financial position of Top Glove Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad from 2021 to 2022. Here shows the changes in total non-current assets, total current assets, total liabilities, total equity of both companies. In short, the distribution of assets for both companies were balanced. However, we could say that Supermax is better in the management of equity when compared to Top Glove Corporation's Berhad. Lastly, the comparison of vertical analysis of comprehensive income statements of Top Glove Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad from 2021 to 2022. When we look at the vertical analysis of both companies, it is seen that both Top Glove and Supermax performed better in 2021 when compared to the year of 2022. This is proven when looking at the total comprehensive incomes of both companies that shows a decrease within these 2 financial years. Nevertheless, Supermax Corporation's Berhad still has a better impression to investors with its earnings when compared to Top Glove Corporation Berhad.
Now I'll discuss about each of the 5 ratios, starting with the profitability ratio. Profitability ratios aid in determining and evaluating a company's ability to generate income while incurring expenses. They help in the comparison of corporations in the same industry, as well as the prediction of future growth based on present performance. First profitability ratio is the net profit margin. It determines the amount of net profit earned as a percentage of revenue. For Top Glove Corporation Berhad, it decreases from 47.82% to 5.05%. For Supermax Corporation Berhad, it decreases from 54.86% to 28.17%. So both companies' revenue decreased significantly from 2021 to 2022, while their expenses stay high, resulting in an overall decrease in net profit margin. Overall, the disparity in net profit margins between the 2 corporations grew from 2021 to 2022, favoring Supermax Corporation Berhad. Next is the gross profit percentage. It measures a company's gross profit, which is the difference between sales revenue and cost of sales, compared to its revenues as a percentage. For Top Glove, the gross profit percentage decreases from 79.09% to 61.15%, and for Supermax, it decreases from 77.56% to 57.71%. The decrease in gross profit percentage of both companies across both years are not healthy. However, because Supermax gross margins were always greater than Top Glove, this indicates that Supermax is more successful in making profit above and beyond its cost than Top Glove. Moving on, we have the return on equity or ROE. It is calculated by dividing net income by shareholders' equity. So for Top Glove, the ROE decreases from 116.68% to 4.02%. For Supermax Corporation, it also decreases significantly from 121.95% to 15.25%. This is due to significant decline in their net income, and since Supermax ROE was higher in both years, it suggests that it is more successful at generating income and growth from its equity financing. Moving on to 5.6, we have efficiency ratios, which include inventory turnover, receivables turnover, asset turnover, and fixed asset turnover. So efficiency ratios assess the ability of a business to effectively utilize its assets and manage its liability in the short term. An increase in efficiency ratios usually results in increased profitability. The first efficiency ratio is the inventory turnover ratio. It measures how frequently inventory is sold and replaced over a specific time period. For Top Glove, the inventory turnover ratio decreases from 6.28 to 5.37, while for Supermax it decreases from 3.86 to 2.66. Both corporations' inventory turnover decreased mostly owing to poor sales and excess inventory. Overall, the inventory turnover ratio of Top Glove was higher in both years, which means its product was sold faster than Supermax. Next, we have the receivables turnover ratio. It is a metric for how quickly a business is collecting its credit sales. For Third Glove, the ratio dropped from 23.97 to 13.51. For Supermax, it dropped from 13.46 to 5.33. The sales decline from 2021 to 2022 were caused of the declining trends for both corporations. However, Top Glove greater receivables turnover ratio suggests that their account receivable collection is more effective, or that they have a higher number of high-quality clients that pay their obligations on time. The third one is the asset turnover ratio. It is the ratio of total revenue to average total assets. For Third Glove, it decreases from 1.77 to 0.62. Supermax decreases from 1.35 to 0.40. So the decrease of the ratio from 2021 to 2022 for both corporations were due to a decline in their total revenue. Third Glove, however, had a greater asset turnover ratio for both years than Supermax. This represents how Third Glove was more effective in generating revenue from its assets. Finally, we have the fixed asset turnover ratio. It is the ratio of total revenue to average fixed assets. For Third Glove, the ratio decreases from 3.32 to 0.97. Supermax decreases from 4.73 to 1.75. Once again, both ratios decreased from 2021 to 2022 due to a decreasing total revenue. However, unlike asset turnover ratio, Supermax Corporation has a higher fixed asset turnover ratio than Third Glove in both years, indicating that Supermax was more efficient at making sales from its fixed assets. Next, I will discuss about the liquidity ratio, which includes the current ratio and asset test ratio, also known as the quick ratio. So the liquidity ratio measures a company's ability to meet its short-term financial obligations with current assets. For current ratio, it indicates whether there are enough current assets to meet the current liabilities. For Third Glove, the ratio increases from 1.88 to 2.19. For Supermax, also increases from 2.39 to 4.95. It demonstrates that both corporations have more resources to meet their short-term obligations than in last year. Although, based on the current ratio, the liquidity position of Supermax was better than Third Glove. Next, we have the asset test ratio. It assesses a company's ability to pay current liabilities without selling inventory or obtaining extra financing. For Third Glove, the asset test ratio increases slightly from 1.46 to 1.54. For Supermax, it also increases from 2.17 to 4.62. Both corporations were financially healthy and stable, but the liquidity position of Supermax was still better than Third Glove. Next up, we have the solvency ratio, which includes the debt to assets ratio and debt to equity ratio. So solvency ratio analyzes the ability of a company's cash flow to cover its long-term debt. The first solvency ratio is the debt to assets ratio, and defines the ratio of a company's total liabilities to its total assets. For Third Glove, the debt to assets ratio decreases from 0.26 to 0.16, and for Supermax, decreases from 0.34 to 0.16. Both companies have ratios less than 0.5, showing that equity funds a higher share of a company's assets than debts. Both corporations also have a low degree of leverage and are not risky. Moving on, we have debt to equity ratio. It is the ratio of total liabilities to shareholders' equity. For Third Glove, the ratio decreases from 0.35 to 0.19, and for Supermax, it decreases from 0.51 to 0.18. In short, the reliance of both corporations on debts has decreased over time, and they now rely more on assets. Last but not least, we have the investment ratio, which includes earnings per share (EPS), price per earnings ratio, dividend yield, and earnings yield. Investment ratios are largely concerned with determining individual per-share statistics of profits, dividends, assets, and cash flows for equity shareholders, and linking these performance indicators to the market price of equity share. Now, let us look into the earnings per share or EPS. It is calculated by dividing a company's net profit by the number of common shares outstanding. For Third Glove, it decreases from 2.32 cents to negative 2.1 cents. Supermax decreases from 147.03 cents to 27.19 cents. Both corporations' financial performance declined in both years, but because Supermax EPS was higher in both years than Third Glove, Supermax is more valuable and profitable. Next up, we have the price per earnings ratio, which measures the relationship between the market price of one share of a company stock and its EPS. For Third Glove, it decreases massively from 172.41 to negative 38.57. For Supermax, the price-earning ratio decreased slightly from 5.02 to 3.86. In 2022, the glove has a negative price-earning ratio because it has negative earnings, or it's losing money. On the other hand, Supermax has a low and relatively consistent price-earning ratio for both years, which implies that the present stock price is cheap relative to earnings and may be appealing to investors looking for a bargain. Dividend yield is also one of the investment ratios. It is the amount of dividend paid to shareholders for owning a share of a company's stock divided by the current stock price. For the glove, it decreases slightly from 0.16 to 0.01. This is owing to a significant reduction in its dividend per share. For Supermax, however, it increases from 0.04 to 0.22, and that is due to the market price decline. Overall, Supermax average dividend yield in these 2 years has been higher than the glove. Finally, we have the earnings yield, which is the percentage of earnings per share EPS divided by market price per share, which is the inverse of the price to earnings ratio. For the glove, the earnings yield decreases from 0.58% to negative 2.59%. For Supermax, it increases from 19.92% to 25.9%. In general, Supermax increasing earnings yield trend indicates that the stock is undervalued and may be a good time to buy the stock that it is projected to deliver a substantial run-up in the market.
Now we'd like to talk about the capital structures of Top Glove Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad. For the Top Glove Corporation Berhad, its liabilities in 2021 is 26.19%, while its equity have 73.81%. Come to 2022, its liabilities reduced to 16.31%, while equity increased to 83.69%. On the other hand, Supermax Corporation Berhad has a liability of 33.81% in 2021 and 66.19% of its equity. Come to 2022, the liability reduced to 15.53% and its equity grew to 84.47%. In this slide, we'd like to talk about the debt and equity of Top Glove Corporation Berhad. For the liabilities, there's two types, which is current liabilities and non-current liabilities. In current liabilities, it contains loan and borrowings, trade and other payables, contract liabilities, lease liabilities, income tax payables, and derivative financial instruments. All of them decreased from 2021 to 2022. For non-current liabilities, it contains loan and borrowing, lease liabilities, different tax assets, and provisions. Only loans and borrowings and lease liability decreased from 2021 to 2022. The total liabilities is decreased from 2021 to 2022 with a 48.35%. For equities, it contains share capital, treasury shares, other reserve, retained earning, perpetual sukuk, and non-controlling interest. Only share capital, treasury shares, and other reserve increased from 2021 to 2022. The total equity decreased 5.191% from 2021 to 2022. For the Supermax Corporation Berhad, the type of debt it contains is current liabilities and non-current liabilities. For the current liabilities, it contains payables, amount owing to subsidiaries, loan and borrowings, lease liabilities, and tax payables. Only lease liabilities increased from 2021 to 2022. For the non-current liabilities, it contains loans and borrowing, lease liabilities, and deferred tax liabilities. Only loans and borrowing decreased from 2021 to 2022. In total liabilities, the liabilities decreased from 2021 to 2022 with a percentage of 63%. For the equities, the Supermax Corporation Berhad contains share capital, treasury shares, reserve, equity attributed to owners of the parents, and non-controlling interests. The share capital doesn't have any change throughout the years from 2021 to 2022. Whilst there's only reserve have a decrease from 2021 to 2022. In total, the equity increased 2.81% in 2022.
For the cash flow of Top Glove Corporation Berhad, there are four major categories, which are operating activities, investing activities, financing activities, cash and cash equivalents. For the operating activities, the amount decreased about 98% from 2021 to 2022. For investing activities, a significant loss of RM 1.2 million K was incurred in 2021, while an amount of RM 132,000 K was earned in 2022. For financing activities, there was a significant decrease of RM 6.16 million K from 2021 to 2022. For the cash and cash equivalents, there was a net decrease of RM 441,000 K from 2021 to 2022. For the cash flow of Supermax Corporation Berhad, there are four major categories as well, which are operating activities, investing activities, financing activities, and cash equivalents. For operating activities, there was a huge decrease of approximately RM 3.28 million K from 2021 to 2022. For the investing activities, there was also a 22% decline from 2021 to 2022. For financing activities, a total amount of RM 679K was used in 2021, while RM 765,000K was used in 2022. From 2021 to 2022, there was a net decrease of RM 772,000K in the cash and cash equivalents, which means the liquidity went down. We are going to conclude on the cash flows of the two companies, which are Top Glove Corporation Berhad and Supermax Corporation Berhad. So the condition of Top Glove Corporation Berhad worsened from 2021 to 2022. Losses from investing activities and financing activities exceed the net cash flows generated from operating activities that result in a net decrease of 441,000 in cash and cash equivalents from 2021 to 2022. Besides, the financial performance of Supermax Corporation Berhad in terms of cash flows went down about 20% from 2021 to 2022, even though there was a huge increase of earnings in operating activities. The company had more losses due to the use of large amounts of cash in both investing and financing activities.
Lastly, I will talk about the conclusion for both companies. Both companies did not perform well in year 2022. The net profit of both companies dropped drastically from year 2021 to year 2022. From the balance sheet, we can see that the total equity of Top Glove dropped, but for Supermax increases. Both companies have low leverage level, but Top Glove is better. This is because Top Glove have better performance in efficiency making profit. Both of them is in good condition to repay their debt. However, Supermax has higher EPS than Top Glove. From the cash flow figure, we can see that the cash flow is reduced in both companies. That's all from us. Thank you.